Pro Wrestling Weekly. For over 20 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment radio talk.
Is cooking.
WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
You really do sound like a
grizzled old vet. Is that where you were going with there?
Yes.
To not get you in trouble?
Oh, I'll get in trouble at some point. Believe me, I'll do something.
Well, to keep you out of trouble in this case, at least.
And now, here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Ooh, I'm getting good at this radio thing.
Yeah. It only took you 5.5 years.
I'm not good at it yet. I'm starting.
Yeah.
Only slightly.
Slowest escalator upward.
Shut up!
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you. Well, not alongside Twitch, as he actually is, he's made his way up to Connecticut. Yes, he's working, he's booked tonight at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling in Connecticut, which actually is, as he was telling me earlier, is run by Paul Roma. Yeah, there's a name from the past, from Power and Glory and Brief Horseman. But also joining me is none other than Mitch.
Heyo.
Yeah, back after a little bit of a couple of week absence here for a couple of different reasons. 2 weeks ago, I think we had noted that everything was coming up Millhouse for you between the new car, the new job, it's almost like you want a game show here. Yeah, the last week of finals, I think, for you a couple weeks ago. It was just all kind of coming together at once. Yeah, the car, the job, the license.
That whole shebang just piled on me.
But, hey, in a good way. I mean,
of course a good way.
Yeah, not having to deal with school for the summer and all that. And then you had the vacation last week, although I had some personal things to tend to. So, we kind of changed things up a little bit, but yeah, a good time to say the least. So best of luck to Twitch, who might but unlikely be joining us over the phone. Maybe the long distance from Connecticut's a little too much to. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. No, but he's up in Connecticut, and that should be interesting. I wonder if he waved past Titan Towers on his way up there, since that's right there in Stamford.
True.
Where he may or may not hope to be. Who knows? But speaking of Titan Tower and WWE, well, first of all, we had a bit of a pay-per-view this past Sunday, and mixed reviews that were mostly positive, although I think the overall feeling going into it based on the recent results were a bit negative. But let's go ahead and get into Stomping Ground. Yeah, well, Brothers Johnson, Stomp. Yeah, see what I did there? No, well, okay, you didn't, because this song predates me even, but I play chart toppers, and this was a chart topper. It's what I do. All right, so setting off in the pre-show to start things off, Drew Gulak surprising all of us and beating Akira Tozawa and Tony Nese to win the Cruiserweight Championship. So we all had guessed either Nese or, in your case, Tozawa, and you had the right idea in picking a new champ. It just not the right person, unfortunately. It's the challenge of those triple threat matches. Moving on, Becky Lynch defeated Lacey Evans by submission to retain the Raw Women's Championship, although that wouldn't be the last we'd see of Lacey Evans in the evening. More on that in a bit. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, those kooky Canadians, they beat Big E and Xavier Woods of the New Day in... Yeah, so that one you and I both whiffed on, and Twitch got that one right. So he ended up outpicking us this time around. So that's why he's celebrating in Connecticut, I suppose. Ricochet, the new United States champion, upsetting Samoa Joe.
Say what?
Yeah, I mean, Ricochet's he's being built to be a huge star, and you could kind of see it throughout the pay-per-view. I mean, from the beginning to afterward, kind of a huge celebration. But yeah, all three of us whiffed on that one. And that would be the last time we would guess incorrectly, as the rest of the pay-per-view went swimmingly for us. Daniel Bryan and Rowan, they defeated Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker to retain the SmackDown tag titles. Bayley, she is still your SmackDown Women's Champion after defeating Alexa Bliss. To the surprise of pretty much nobody, Roman Reigns had beaten Drew McIntyre. Despite Shane McMahon's help, that doesn't make Drew McIntyre look all that great, but Super Shane on his own had no problem out in the Saudi shoehorn. And finally, the two biggies, the WWE Championship and Universal Championship, the cage match between Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler. Well, Kofi Kingston won, but by escape, leading to more complaining. Yeah, because with a steel cage match, you can win by pinfall, submission, or by going either over the top of the cage and out to the floor, or through the door of the cage and out to the floor. But, well, that led to Ziggler kind of complaining that, Kingston, no, he still can't beat me without help. So we might see another Kingston-Ziggler match down the line, but it doesn't look like it'll be at the next pay-per-view Extreme Rules unless something major changes, but we'll get into that a little bit later as well.
All right.
And finally, Seth Rollins defeating Baron Corbin to retain the Universal Championship, and the guest referee, nobody that we had expected, and it was Lacey Evans.
Say what now?
Lacey Evans was the guest referee because, Rollins, he had gone through, and pretty much anybody who had even thought about being the special guest referee for it, Rollins was taking a steel chair to their back. So, what a coup, and he wouldn't hit a woman, so, especially a Southern belle like Lacey Evans, so it was a rather smart play, but that, of course, led to chants throughout of Becky, and Becky eventually would come out to knock out Lacey Evans and, allow Rollins to get the advantage to win. As we noted in the past, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, the respective Raw Women's and Universal Champions, dating in real life. So a little bit of art imitating life.
Just a little bit of that.
Just a little bit, and that'll play into what's coming up here to Philadelphia in just a couple of weeks, as the next pay-per-view Extreme Rules will be emanating from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia.
Heck yeah.
That is on Sunday, July 14th. Just 2 weeks from tomorrow. Where the heck does the time go?
Time flies. It sure flies.
Yeah, so that was Stomping Ground. And one of the big, perfect timing as the song finished up there.
Yeah.
It's as if I planned it. I didn't. No, it worked out kind of sort of like planned.
It was like,
yeah. No,
it was like that perfect coincidence.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Just talking up to the end. It's what I do. But there was a little bit of, some behind-the-scenes notes, or at least scenes that you couldn't see, but people in the arena sure did, as the Tacoma, Washington crowd was not exactly thrilled nor plentiful, as a lot of the what they call hard camera side, where the cameras sit that show what you see in the crowd. A lot of the seats that were over on that end, pretty much all of them were tarped off because of low ticket sales.
Oh.
That's not good. But the crowd that was there, they initially didn't take too well to Lacey Evans being the special guest referee. There were chants of AEW. There were other kind of negative chants toward the decision. I think the problem with that is there weren't really that many saucy names that you could throw out there. They're not going to waste the debut, for example, of Bray Wyatt with his Firefly Funhouse. I don't think seeing that live, it just doesn't serve any purpose necessarily.
No.
And really, what other name were you going to get there? And, they did a good job of making Bryan and Rowan disliked, despite the fact that Bryan is extremely popular there in the northwestern part of the United States, as he is from that area initially. So even though he is booed throughout the rest of the country, he was rather popular as Raw made that tour through the Northwest in Tacoma as well as Portland, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's another city that I'm forgetting off the top of my head.
Never mind.
What?
Nothing. Just never mind.
No, never minding.
No,
okay.
No,
Moving on. But yeah, outside of Stomping Grounds and with a lot of the kind of cloud of negative stuff that's been hovering over WWE just in terms of the creative and everything from the Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley interview from Talk is Jericho that we talked about a few weeks ago. WWE, they came back a-swinging this past Thursday as they made an announcement that shook up the wrestling world and gave fans who had hoped for the product's creative to improve a lot of optimism for the upcoming future, in that WWE announcing Thursday that it has named Paul Heyman, yes, that Paul Heyman, Executive Director of Monday Night Raw. So I guess he'll be doing that when he's not the advocate for Brock Lesnar. And additionally, if that wasn't enough, they named Eric Bischoff as Executive Director to SmackDown Live. So Bischoff will be essentially handling creative for SmackDown and Paul Heyman for Raw. Now, these are newly created positions, and they both report directly to WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon. And in these executive roles, they're going to be overseeing the creative development of WWE's flagship programming and ensure integration across all platforms and lines of business. That's very corporate-y.
It is very corporate-y. That sounds like a lot of corporate talk to me, so...
Oh, well, it came from the press release, so...
it did?
That came straight from the press release.
Wow, okay.
So, yeah, pretty much they're going to be in charge of... They're going to be the head honchos for the creative writing of both of those respective shows. Ultimately, Vince McMahon will have the final say, but at least these are two individuals who have the gravitas to be able to tell Vince, I don't think this is a great idea, Vince. And there aren't that many people who dare say no to Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Wait, his middle name's Kennedy?
Yes.
Huh. The more you know.
Yeah. I figured it would have come up at some point, but no, that's, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Now, the creation of these roles, going back to the press release, further establishes WWE's ability to continuously reinvent its global brand while providing two distinct creative processes for its flagship shows. With more than 30 years of experience in the sports entertainment industry, it talks a little bit about the individuals now, Heyman served as president of ECW from 1993 to 2001, securing pay-per-view distribution for the company as well as a national cable television deal with TNN. Mm-hmm. What eventually became Spike TV. And
did?
Probably, yeah, and I think it got renamed even since then. I kind of stopped following cable for a little while.
Kind of have to.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of TV.
Kind of have to.
Work and all that. After his time with ECW, Heyman joined WWE's creative team and is widely credited with helping launch the careers of many current and former WWE superstars. Bischoff, meanwhile, is a former WCW president and New York Times best-selling author. During his WCW career, Bischoff oversaw the signing of some of the biggest names in sports entertainment and helped create and develop the NWO storyline. He was also instrumental in securing a television deal for WCW Monday Nitro on TNT and WCW Thunder on TBS.
Well, as you're wearing an NWO shirt.
I am wearing an NWO shirt. Yeah, a little bit of a throwback. After WCW, Bischoff co-founded Bischoff Hervey Entertainment, a production company that launched reality television shows and mobile games. So, yeah, these are two people who definitely have the ability to say to Vince, no, this is not a good idea.
This isn't good, Vince. This isn't good.
And these are, it's kind of one of those, I guess, in a way, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, as back in the 90s, I mean, these three were bitter rivals, and they're all now working together. I mean, they all had their three respective companies. I mean, this was McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's all going at it in the 1990s, or at least the wrestling equivalent of that.
Basically.
And it was the best analogy I could think of off the top of my head.
It was.
It works, though.
It works. It just works.
Yeah, it's just, in this case, one didn't put the other out of the business in the fast food elements. That's a good thing, because they all have very delicious things, and I'm not going to get on a tangent because I'm hungry about it. Yeah, moving on. Good idea. Actually, what we should move on to is our first time out, because all that, we're already at that point here, but we still have a lot more to get into, including Impact Slammiversary. That's coming up, and they're working with a football team, or at least a football team.
Football.
Yeah. Yeah, a football club, or FC as they're known here in the States. So we'll delve a little bit into that. Also, a war of words courtesy of the Bluebird between one of WWE's top stars and a top international star. And the widespread widespread contributions that came from that. Also, a pretty popular series for WWE returns to USA Network after a brief summer hiatus. Also, we'll talk a little bit of AEW as well, as they've got an event coming up tonight. We'll talk a little bit about that, and a bit of a, some would argue, a Richard move on WWE's part. Yeah. We'll talk about that, plus a follow-up from a story regarding the former Marlena, or Terry Runnels, that we talked about a month ago. It's a good story, a good follow-up to it. Plus, the modern-day Maharajas on the mend. We'll let you know what's going on with that, and also we'll even talk a little bit of video games, as there was a WWE tie-in that occurred just a couple of hours ago. Yeah, in a very fun way. So all that, plus we'll look into Extreme Rules, as that's coming up a couple of weeks, and already 5 matches are set for that. Plus, well, a whole bunch more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Next time you head down the shore, make Keenan's Irish Pub your favorite spot. Located in the heart of North Wildwood, Keenan's Irish Pub is 25,000 square feet of wall-to-wall fun. There's live entertainment 7 days a week and an extensive menu that even features sushi. So grab a nice cold drink, listen to some live music, and enjoy a fantastic time at Keenan's Irish Pub. Keenan's is located at 113 Old New Jersey Avenue in North Wildwood, where all the neighborhoods still meet.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
Hi, this is Dr. Lee Piccarello, inviting you to tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. to The Head Game, a must-listen show for athletes and coaches of all levels and ages. Mindful Athlete Training in Newtown, Pennsylvania is a mental circuit training program that prepares the athletes to perform at the highest level of today's game. Athletes get into the zone faster and stay there longer. Tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. right here on WBCB 1490 AM and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com.
Hi, this is Sarah Floyd, Director of Care Advocacy, and we're Bucks County Elder Law, a life care planning law firm. It's not easy talking to loved ones or friends about long-term care. However, the reality is things happen. And people are naturally lousy planners who tend to be overly optimistic. It's no fun reminding people that they may need long-term care. One way to get people to take action is to discuss the benefits of planning versus the consequences of not planning. At Bucks County Elder Law, we empower you to make the best legal, care, and planning decisions for you and your family. We invite you to call us today at 215-493-0727 to schedule a free initial consultation and to join us each Tuesday at 9 a.m. for Senior Legal Strategies right here on WBCB. And visit our website at www.buckscountyelderlaw.com.
See, he's got the Luigi death stare from Fearon, so he might have...
I didn't give you the Luigi death stare. That's not true.
You're breaking kayfabe.
Breaking kayfabe. Gonna break something else during this commercial.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Are we getting into that controversy again?
I know how it feels, and it's not fun.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Mitch.
Heyo, I actually kind of liked how you changed up the comeback into the...
I'm working on getting more and more in there. I mean, that was actually an oldie but a goodie, but...
It was an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I got to do here. I'm about as low budget on this as Dick Van Dyke was in Mary Poppins playing the band.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like a 55-year-old reference. Way to go, me. Hey, you remember that, though? You had the one-man band thing. He was Bert. Yeah, he had the cymbals and the bass drum as like a backpack, and he had the harmonica in front of him and the whole to-do.
Oh, boy, I remember that one.
And the not-so-great, even by his own admission, the not-so-great Cockney accent. Well, he was taught how to do a British accent by an Irishman. That was his first mistake.
There you go.
Yeah, that. It was, but hey, it was the '60s. What can you do? You know, they didn't exactly have Rosetta Stones sitting around, right?
Mm-mm.
Although not that they would have. Yeah, that wouldn't have exactly worked out that well. Alrighty, but yeah, moving on here, since I've got a little bit of it in front of me, and also to have a little bit of fun with this here to kind of stretch the bounds of wrestling a little bit here with this, and kind of get another interest into the mix here. So, there's currently a charity video game marathon going on called Summer Games Done Quick, or SGDQ for short. It's a week-long marathon, which today's the final day of it, and they basically have people playing games as quickly as possible and raising money for charity. In this case, the charity is Doctors Without Borders, which helps provide medical care to those parts of the world that don't necessarily have access to it. Really cool cause. And to give you an idea, since they started at noon on Sunday, they have raised just over $1.6 million.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not even. I mean, they're trying to push for 2.5. So they've got all of basically tonight, probably roughly the next 12 to 13 hours to be able to do so. But there usually is a pretty heavy push come Saturday night toward the end. So
yeah, here's
certainly see about that.
It.
But how does this all tie into wrestling? You're probably wondering. I'm getting there. So there's a game that's actually currently being played. It's called Pokemon Let's Go. And one of the donation incentives, because they have various incentives, is to name certain characters in the game. And, well, a WWE superstar happened to win the vote, and people pledging over $1,100 to name a certain Pokemon character.
And his name is John Cena!
And there's that drop.
Yeah, you kind of figured it was coming, but...
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. With the internet and video gaming community, John Cena is what is known as a meme. He is a caricature that is used almost in a drop-like sense that I had there. And so, yes, you have one of the Pokemon characters that are playing currently is named John Cena. To give you an idea, another one is named Steve Irwin, after the late Crocodile Hunter, who... Yeah, so you never know what goes through the minds of of video game characters, to say the least. But that's certainly a fun and good time. And I saw an opportunity to bring it into the wrestling vernacular, or at least wrestling found a way to be brought into it. And I thought, all right, let me give a little bit of good vibes for the charity, and B, bring it out there to others here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in other news, I mentioned the modern-day Maharaja on the mend, former WWE champion Jinder Mahal revealing that he underwent surgery to repair a ruptured patellar tendon. That's in the knee. It's not fun. Mahal noting on Instagram that he suffered the injury during a June 15th match against Ali, stating, quote, "Happy to say surgery went well and my knee was better than expected. This comeback is going to be legendary." I don't know if he was trying to channel How I Met Your Mother. You know, it's going to be legend. Wait for it. Dairy? No? No, okay. No. Neil Patrick Harris's birthday was not too long ago, so I featured that here on the show. I think that was during your first shift at the new job, or first Saturday shift at the new job. So that's,
the new job.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. Time just flies on by here. What can I say?
No, it wasn't the first shift.
Well, it might have been your first Saturday shift. I don't know your
shifts,
personal business that much here. I'm just kind of spitballing. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll go from oh goodness. Apparently, in the game, there was a heel turn by Cena, as they're noting here in the Games Done Quick chat on Twitch. I get distracted very easily here. I'm gonna get out of that here so we can focus on things here. Although that is kind of fun, and in the time that I talked about it, they raised like another $2,000. So
great job.
Yeah, great job on them. So let's get to a war of words courtesy of the Bluebird, aka Twitter.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Seth Rollins taking to Twitter to give some final hype this past Saturday for Stomping Grounds, and he had tweeted, quote, "Best pro wrestling on the planet, period." The internet apparently did not like that. Not one bit, or at least they tried to call him out on a grandiose statement, which I don't know how grandiose it is. I mean, do you want to advertise yourself as, the second best or third best anything?
No.
No, that's like,
no, you
come see. We're the third best. No, I don't know. We're the third best wrestling talk show here in the Philadelphia area. No, that doesn't exactly welcome people in with open arms and ears.
It's like saying, "Hey, I'm the 16th best company in the world. Come over here." Come on.
Well, if you're like 16th on the Fortune 500, that's not a bad thing.
That's not
but
a bad thing,
it's but if you're
you got to promote yourself as number one.
Exactly. So the internet webs, they took umbrage to the statement. They called him out on it. So just at the start of the Stomping Grounds pay-per-view, Rollins added another tweet saying, "Doubling down, best pro wrestling on the planet. See that cruiserweight triple threat?" Referring to the pre-show opener between Kira Tozawa and Tony Nese and new champion Drew Gulak, of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see that cruiserweight triple threat? And that's just one night, one match amongst the many. Find anyone else alive who does what I do as well as I do it, as often as I do it. You can't. Well,
oh boy.
Later that night, international sensation, wrestles a lot over in Japan, Will Ospreay, he simply tweeted back in response, "I'm alive."
Huh. How?
Yeah, just
very
simple
yet
simple but effective.
Wow.
Some great promos are. All you need is 2 words, and 2 words are enough to make a very huge statement. I mean, ask DX. That pretty much put them on the map for 20 years, right? Mm. They've got 2 words for you. Yeah, we've talked about that before.
There we go.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, the Architect, Rollins, ended up following up a few hours later after the pay-per-view, firing back, stating, "I'm sorry, little guy. We already have a better version of you here, and he just won his first U.S. title tonight. Congrats, Ricochet. Keep working hard, though, buddy." And even though it was in text form, it was about with that kind of a condescending tone that the tweet was sent out. I can pretty much imagine it.
You can probably imagine it.
Yeah, the exchange went on from there, and even others in wrestling chimed in. Because now, because it's available for public, other people can throw their 2 cents into the mix.
Yeah, it's the interwebs.
It is. But before that happened, Ospreay tweeting the following night, "Fact of the day, Will Ospreay wrestled more matches in 2019 than Seth Rollins. Catch up, little guy." Yeah, the banter just goes on and on. It is.
This is gold.
It is. This is one of the bittersweet sides of the interwebs can be. So Rollins, he took a high road. I don't know if it was the high road in replying, "I mean, if you want to talk numbers, we can compare bank accounts too. P.S. That's counting a month off with a broken back, buddy." So he went the "I make more money than you" realm.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I think at that point, Ospreay kind of wins the battle. If you're going with the, all right, let's, it's bad enough they're going with the whole little guy. I mean, all that stuff it's very macho. It's very grandiose. It's very I don't know. It's like they're just trying to, I guess, go into a measuring contest, which thanks to Rollins' exploits, we at least know how one measures up. But that you don't know that story, and I will tell you that one during the break.
Oh boy, can't wait for this one.
Yeah, but the short version of it, or pun semi-intended there, was yes, Rollins, thanks to a jilted ex-lover, had a bit of some photography exposed of his, including, that's kind of the no pun intended. That's the kind of the short end of the story.
Oh
wow! I just did that.
You just did that.
I just did that.
Congratulations.
Well, I mean, I'd say you can see for yourself, and I'm sure if you really want to, you can, but yeah, moving on.
Mm-mm.
So Chris Jericho, he chimed in, calling out Rollins on the use of the term little guy, pointing out that Ospreay is actually taller than Rollins.
Is he?
Well, in terms of height, they're actually even at 6 feet 1 inches tall. Ricochet, by comparison, is 5'9". Even though Ricochet has nothing to do with this other than being the new U.S. champ. But there's a lot of familiarity with Ricochet and Ospreay, and they're compared a lot as they tore the house down with a lot of 5 and seemingly 7-star matches in Japan because 7 stars is more than the max of 5 stars because that's how wrestling does.
It's even more than 6.
Good job, Meltzer. Yeah, but Baron Corbin even interjected himself because why not? He claimed that he worked. Yeah, he claimed that he worked more matches than Ospreay, but then added that he doesn't actually know who Ospreay is. Yeah, I worked more matches than him. Wait, who is this? Essentially was the tone of that. Now, while the jabs may continue, it's worth noting that Ospreay also retweeted a quote from his forthcoming ESPN interview with Mark Raimondi, in which he stated, quote, "I think it's just a little bit of friendly banter. I love Rollins. Rollins is the absolute Don. He's the man, you know what I mean? He's one of the best wrestlers ever, period. But you asked the question, you asked, find me someone alive. As far as I'm concerned, I'm breathing. There's oxygen in my lungs. I think the last time I heard about an amazing Seth Rollins match was one against AJ Styles. And if you can't get a good match out of AJ Styles, then I think you should leave the planet."
Oh.
He's not wrong. Styles could carry me to a good match. And I haven't taken a bump in a year and a half. So, yeah, I mean, that just shows how good all these guys are. But just a little fun banter, a little back and forth. Certainly nothing wrong with that.
Oh, man, this classic interwebs back and forth, I love it.
Absolutely. And, well, while that fun was going on here, we're going to have our own little fun and not necessarily back and forth, but a little bit of learning times here, courtesy of a look at the local scene, thanks to Ed from Northeast Philly. Ed, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Good afternoon. Hot enough for you?
It's a little toasty. I mean, I like the summer. I am a self-professed beach bum and baseball bum, so yes, I am okay with 90-degree days. Just keep them coming. Endless summer. Let's do it.
Yeah, Harlem heat. Feel the heat. That joke never gets old.
Yeah, we want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you. Oh, yeah, we know the rest. Even Mitch knows the rest. My gosh. I forget what stories I've told you and which ones or what you've learned and what you haven't.
I've learned a lot, and I have a lot yet to learn.
Yes. That is the proper answer, too. This kid is gold. Twitch who?
The best in the world RLH is tonight at the 2300 Arena.
Oh, that's right. Yes, they did have the pay-per-view last night, but I believe the TV tapings are tonight.
Yeah, 7:00 p.m. tonight. Shine was canceled for 2 weeks from now. Shine 60 Wrestling. But Evolved 131 is still going on July 13th at 8 p.m. at the arena.
Well, there's definitely going to be a lot going on the weekend of the 13th and 14th, that's for sure.
Yeah, I heard Alexa Bliss will be in the area, too.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss is going to be in the area, I believe.
Langhorne,
that's with George's, yeah, right?
Yeah. I heard Oxford Valley Mall. Maybe it was supposed to be George's.
Or yeah, now I'm getting them confused. You know what? No, you're right. I'm sorry. It's I think it's Dynasty Sports is doing it at Oxford Valley. That's right. George's has Neshaminy, Dynasty has Oxford Valley. There's so much here. It's hard for me to keep things straight anymore.
Yeah, and HBK is going to be in Voorhees that afternoon on the 13th.
Well, I mean, it's a wrestling weekend in Philadelphia, to say the least. As
yeah, plus Extreme Rules, tickets are going fast.
Yeah, Extreme Rules is. I mean, you've got that going on. You've got Evolve the night before, which we'll get into that in a little bit as well, as that's created at least a little bit of controversy here.
Yeah, WWE Heatwave coming to Wildwood on July 20th at 7:30.
Oh, those Wildwood days, yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so I was pulling up the Michaels thing here. So that is at I Play
July
America
20th.
and Freehold, I believe, on the 13th. And that's right at noon, so doggone it, I'll be here. Oh, well.
They have Reading, Pennsylvania. I don't have the date down here. I think it might be next weekend in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Wait, what's next weekend in Reading?
WWE Heatwave Tour as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, the WWE they're at that point where they're making their way into this section of the United States, so there's going to be a lot of various things going on.
And I can't believe it's been 12 years since Benoit passed away.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a couple of noted historical memories around this time. I try not to make it an annual thing, looking back at the Benoit thing. I mean, I did it for 10 years a couple of years ago. I figured that was kind of noted, but yeah, I mean, it's something we don't necessarily need to revisit, although there were certainly a lot of fillings going on yesterday, as yesterday marked, 21 years since the famous Hell in a Cell match between The Undertaker and Mankind, which pretty much shaped a generation.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
And taking a look here, Friday the 19th of July is when Reading is hosting. So yeah, Reading on Friday the 19th, and then Wildwood on Saturday the 20th.
Yeah, I'll be hanging up for a little while. I'm doing nights and weekends at my work now.
Oh, okay. Occupational obligations. It's more than understandable, but that's all right. I mean,
Semi-retirement.
It'll be good to hear from you when we hear from you. But
yeah, semi-retired.
there we go. Yeah, it's not a wrestling retirement because that means you'd be coming back numerous times. So
yes.
But no, thank you so much
part-time.
for all your contributions. It is greatly appreciated, and we look.
And happy 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th coming up this Thursday, and yes, enjoy the fireworks. Be safe.
Yeah.
Don't drink and shoot off fireworks because usually bad things happen.
Don't drink and drive either.
Don't drink and drive either. Yeah, there are a lot of things you shouldn't drink and do. But I think fireworks and heavy machinery, not the tag team, are certainly two good reasons.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ed, and we'll catch up with you, if not next week, when we'll hear from you again sometime down the road.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much for chiming in, and I believe we're at that point here where we take care of our second bit of business here, and we'll come back and we'll delve a little bit more into that aforementioned Richard move that involves Evolve. There we go.
Huh.
Also, the Major League Soccer involvement with Impact Wrestling and Slammiversary, that coming up. And quite a few other stories here as well. Alongside Mitch, I'm Fearon Derry. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
She's the first lady of rock and soul. Parks Casino is proud to present Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle. Friday, July 12th at 8 p.m. at the Excite Center at Parks Casino. One of Rolling Stone magazine's top 100 singers. Tickets on sale now at parkscasino.com. Patti LaBelle. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Azalea is my world. When I heard that she had a tumor, everything just became dark. When I came to St. Jude, I started to get back some light in my life.
On top of first-class best care, you will never receive a bill, so that you can focus on this child. The only thing we had to worry about was just keeping Azalea comfortable. St. Jude saved her life, and it saved us as a family.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Are you curious what old antiques, collectibles, or household contents are worth? Listen Friday mornings for What's It Worth with Mike the Appraiser, right here on 1490 WBCB.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 or TPPC. Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455.
WBCB is starting its first ever Summer of Fun. Make sure the summer is a splash by tuning in to WBCB 1490 for your chance to win some free summer swag. Listen in Fridays between 2 and 3 p.m. to win cool gear and tickets for super fun activities in Bucks County. That's each Friday with Nick Gallagher for the afternoon drive from 2 to 3 p.m. for free summer swag, right here on WBCB.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, June 29th. On this date in 1998, WWF Monday Night Raw aired live from Cleveland, Ohio. In the main event, Steve Austin pinned Kane to win the World Wrestling Federation Championship. On this date in 2008, WWE held its Night of Champions pay-per-view. In the main event, Triple H pinned John Cena to retain the WWE Championship. On this date in 2014, WWE held its Money in the Bank pay-per-view. In the main event, John Cena defeated Kane, Randy Orton, Sheamus, Alberto Del Rio, Roman Reigns, Cesaro, and Bray Wyatt in a Money in the Bank ladder match. This has been Today in Wrestling History, June 29th.
You are listening to Pro Wrestling Weekly with Fearon Dairy.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Thank you there to new Executive Director Eric Bischoff for the little bit of love there to the show.
Great
and
job.
Alongside Mitch.
Heyo.
I'm Fearon Dairy. We've got more wrestling news and stuff to get into here over the course of the next, 13 minutes. Where does the time go?
Mm-hmm.
So WWE announced that the remaining episodes from Season 1 of the docuseries Ms. and Mrs. will return to the USA Network Tuesday, August 6th at 10 p.m. Eastern. Ms. and Mrs. It gives an exclusive glimpse into the A-list lifestyle of married WWE superstars The Miz and Maurice. After trading the Hollywood Hills for a quiet life in Austin, Texas, the power couple soon discovered there's nothing quiet about a life filled with 2 dogs, 2 cats, their adorable baby Monroe, a crazy live-in mother-in-law, and the demands of their high-octane careers. Reality at its finest.
That isn't easy. I can't imagine that.
No.
Mm-mm.
Meanwhile, over to Impact, they issued a press release to announce its promotional partnership with Major League Soccer's Dallas FC team, FC standing for Football Club, leading into the Slammiversary event. Impact Wrestling teaming up with FC Dallas for a series of promotions events that are heading up to Slammiversary 17, which will be held Sunday night, July 7th at Gilley's, Dallas. Impact World Champion Brian Cage will attend the team's home match on Thursday, July 4th at Toyota Stadium in suburban Frisco, Texas, just outside of Dallas. And Cage will cheer on the host club in its match that night against DC United, which is expected to draw about 20,000 fans for the holiday night match. Cage will also be participating in a special halftime promotion where he will attempt to score a penalty kick against the team's mascot, a bull named Tex Hooper.
Seriously?
Yep.
Huh.
That's better than making a half-court shot in basketball. Impact Wrestling presents Slammiversary 17 on July 7th, Sunday on pay-per-view from Gilley's, Dallas, and Brian Cage defends that world championship at Slammiversary against Michael Elgin. Should be a goodie. Now, back to WWE. They have extended their partnership with PP Sports with a new multi-year agreement to continue delivering WWE's weekly flagship programming live and in Mandarin across China. In addition to airing Raw and SmackDown, PP Sports will continue to offer WWE Network as a subscription video-on-demand service featuring all of WWE's monthly pay-per-view events, including WrestleMania. As part of the event, the sports company will also leverage their co-managed sports channels on other popular platforms, Youku and Migu, significantly increasing the reach of WWE programming while driving engagement for fans in China. They're also recruiting elite Chinese athletes and performers in advance of its largest tryout in China to date. That'll be from July 15th to 18th, and up to 50 male and female athletes will have the opportunity to showcase their abilities, with the goal of being selected to train at the state-of-the-art WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. Plus, WWE announced that it'll be returning to China for an actual event on September 21st of this year. So they'll be going international for that huge event. Now, flying under the radar later tonight is the next AEW event, Fyter Fest, down in Daytona Beach, Florida. And along with it, Jon Moxley's AEW debut match against Joey Janela. Also on the card, you've got Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks against Pentagon Jr., Phoenix, and the Laredo Kid. Among many others, the event will stream live and free on BR Live in the United States and internationally on Fight.tv and ITV Box Office.
You saying it's live and free?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, not a bad watch for tonight if you can get a hold of it there. You should. It's free. BR Live.
It's free. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. So it's not so much a pay-per-view event as it is a featured event that'll be free streaming. Now, in another battle between AEW and WWE, this, many would argue, is a bit of a Richard move on WWE's part. They announced Wednesday that Evolve, who they've worked with for a while, Evolve Wrestling's 10th anniversary celebration will stream live on the WWE Network on Saturday, July 13th at 8 p.m. Eastern from the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. Yay, local. Evolve's 10th anniversary celebration will feature the return of Evolve alumni as Adam Cole will defend the NXT Championship against WWE superstar Akira Tozawa, and WWE Cruiserweight Champion Drew Gulak will face NXT superstar Matt Riddle. Bro. In addition, the event will feature NXT superstars Arturo Ruiz and Babatunde, as well as Evolve champion Austin Theory, Evolve tag champions Joe Gacy and Eddie Kingston, WWN champion J.D. Drake, and many more. Now, where does AEW come into play? Well, the event is streaming directly opposite AEW Fight for the Fallen the same night.
Huh.
Yeah, Kenny Omega responding to the announcement in a since-deleted tweet, because, as mentioned earlier, social media can only, it can only lead to bad, at least for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Ask Seth Rollins. Yeah, caught him up on the story during the break, like I said. Gosh, I forgot that was February of 2015 that all got exposed, pun completely intended.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Kenny Omega's since deleted tweet, if lining your pockets with blood money is okay, then what's wrong with trying to undermine a charity show for victims of gun violence? I hear that healthy competition is supposed to be a good thing, and yet I can't help but feel like I'm going to be sick. Again, not so much a jab as it is pretty much a right cross to WWE, to say the least. Now, Omega did follow up with a second tweet stating, quote, I've said my piece and it opened the door to a very toxic environment. It wasn't a message to fans or the boys, just the decision makers. I wish everyone wrestling on any show that day all the best. That is all. So kind of backpedaling a little bit on that.
He leaves it on a bit of a high note.
Just a little bit. Now, in some good news here, following a bad situation, Tampa prosecutors dropped the case against former WWE personality Terry Runnels related to her May 29th arrest for bringing a loaded handgun to Tampa International Airport. Yeah, remember that story from a month ago?
Yep.
TMZ.com reports that prosecutors issued a letter of dismissal that would allow them to pick up the case again, but added that the chances of that happening are considered extremely slim. As heard here, at least excerpts of here, Runnels was quick to record a social media video in which she was apologetic and stated that she simply forgot the gun was in her luggage. She noted that she used the gun to keep armadillos and other pests out of her mother's garden. Runnels, as you know, used the name Marlena during her WWE run as the valet of Goldust. I'm sure you remember the name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dallas Page also releasing a video featuring former WWE wrestler Big Cass, or Kaz XL, as he's now known, discussing his struggle with depression and anxiety. Kaz spoke about drinking so heavily that he doesn't know how he's alive. Yikes.
Wow.
He added the WWE had every right to get rid of him, and Cass also said that he took the seizure that he suffered at the House of Hardcore event as a sign from above, which also happened here in Philly. But I'm sure, most media will blame the Philly fans for that. And we've got a couple of minutes left here. A quick look at the Extreme Rules lineup for 2 weeks from tomorrow. 5 matches so far on the WWE card. Drew Gulak defending the Cruiserweight title against Tony Nese. Nese getting a one-on-one rematch for his lost title. Bayley against Alexa Bliss for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Kofi Kingston taking on new challenger Samoa Joe, fresh off of losing the United States title for the WWE Championship. The unlikely pairing, well, Roman Reigns, he's got himself a new friend to challenge Drew McIntyre and the, quote, best in the world of Shane McMahon. Yes, the gong was sounded this past Monday, the return of The Undertaker.
Say what now?
Looking to perhaps kind of end his career on a higher or a brighter light than what was shown in the heat of Saudi Arabia in the Saudi shoehorn where he and Goldberg almost literally killed each other.
That's true. You gotta end it on.
So Roman Reigns and The Undertaker against Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon. And in an interesting concept here, and this all comes from the fallout of Stomping Grounds, a winner-takes-all mixed tag team match for the Universal and Raw Women's Championship. Seth Rollins teaming up with girlfriend Becky Lynch to defend against Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. That's right. Winner takes all. So if, let's say, Lacey Evans pins Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans becomes the Raw Women's Champion, and Baron Corbin becomes the Universal Champion. A very interesting concept. We'll see how it develops over the course of the next couple of weeks. So with that, we're down to about 3.5 minutes, which means it's time for...
birthdays!
Right on point. 3 plus 4 Brucey bonuses. On this date in 1966, Heidi Lee Morgan was born. The former women's wrestler who had lost to Alundra Blaze in the finals of a tournament on WWF Monday Night Raw to determine a new WWF Women's Champion when they revived it at that point in 93, December 13th of 93 to be exact. Heidi Lee Morgan, she turns 53 today. Got the chance to meet her in person thanks to RC from Completely Damaged. Really nice, really just great person overall.
Awesome.
On this date in 1978, Nicole Scherzinger was born. The often featured recording artist who recorded the hit "Come to Me" along with, alongside Diddy, as well as "Right There" with 50 Cent, and she also sang "America the Beautiful" at WrestleMania 25. She turns 41 today. Where does the time go? And on this date in 1986, Serena Deeb was born, the former WWE competitor who was part of CM Punk's Straight Edge Society back in 2010, and is currently a coach at the WWE Performance Center down in Orlando. Well, Serena, she turns 33 today. Now to the Brucey bonuses, things outside of the world of wrestling. Ted always gets a kick out of this. He's here in studio. Ted Efaw coming up next with Country Roads. On this date in 1948, Frederick Lawrence Grandy was born. The actor and former House representative known for his role as Gopher in the TV series The Love Boat, he turned 71 today. On this date in 1979, we're going to the gridiron for this one, Daniel Lee Deerdorf was born. The former longtime then St. Louis Cardinal, that shows how long ago it was, as well as 12-year color commentator for Monday Night Football. He turns 70 today. Yeah, where does the time go? Keeping it local on this one, on this date in 1957, Michael Anthony Nutter was born. The former mayor of Philadelphia from 2008 to 2016, he turned 62 today. And finally, we'll keeping it close in terms of the time here. On this date in 1991, Kawhi Anthony Leonard was born. Yeah, that name should sound familiar. The two-time NBA basketball champion and championship finals most valuable player back in 2014 with the San Antonio Spurs and just earlier this month with the Toronto Raptors. Yeah. He turns 28 today. Wow. Yeah, who'd have thought? Basketball, not one of my favorite sports, but I've been talking a lot of hoops today. How the heck does that happen? I don't know. Yeah, usually I'd be throwing all kinds of baseball references out, but right. I don't. Well, I don't know, the Phillies haven't, apart from the 4-game series with the Mets earlier this week, they haven't been doing so hot, so that may have something to do with it. Hopefully they'll turn it around later today. Coverage here at WBCB starts at 3:35 with Phillies on deck.
Shortchanging that country.
Shortchanging that country road show. What's that about?
It's a dead end.
It's a dead end. It's a doggone shame and a bunch of other things. That's it for us here. We'll be back next week. Play us out, Nutsy.
1 o'clock in Old Wyoming.
Serving you better than ever before. This is Fort